Congratulations, you've been named the executor. You think this means you're now the boss of the estate. You call the shots, you control the money, you decide who gets what. I'm here to burst that bubble immediately. Being an executor or administrator is not a position of power, it's a position of legal liability. My colleague and trusted probate attorney Paul Velasco calls it exactly what it is: a thankless job. He told me once, Paula, you have enormous responsibility, constant scrutiny, and massive risk if you make even one mistake. And no matter what you do, someone is usually unhappy. If you sell the house too fast, beneficiaries say you sold it too cheap. If you take time to get the best price, they accuse you of stalling. Today, we're going to talk about fiduciary duty, the legal standard that can protect you or destroy you. I'm going to explain the difference between full authority versus limited authority in the California Probate Code, the difference between a smooth sale and a nightmare sale. I'm going to show you why trying the DIY probate to save money isn't just risky. In California, it's often legally unrealistic. Hi everyone, I'm Paula Aragone with Aragone & Associates at First Team Real Estate. Welcome back to Mastering the Probate Sale, our 12-part series teaching you everything you need to know about the probate process. Now, let's define today's big legal term: fiduciary duty. In the eyes of the law, this is the highest standard of care and loyalty. It means you must treat the estate's money and property better than your own. If you make a risky investment with your own money and lose it, that's your problem. If you make a mistake with the estate's money, you're personally liable. That means beneficiaries can sue you. And a judge can order you to repay the estate out of your own pocket. This is why courts expect executors to act like professionals, even if you're still a grieving family member. Veteran litigator Nikki Millivan, with over 35 years of experience, told me that the most family probate disputes happen because executors forget this duty. They make emotional decisions, or even worse, they start acting like they personally own the assets. You're not the owner, you're the steward. Your job is to protect the asset, to maximize its value, and to distribute it fairly. If you sell the house to your neighbor for $800,000 because he's a nice guy, but the market value is $900,000, you just breach your fiduciary duty. And trust me when I say the other heirs will find out. Now let's get technical, because this is one of the single most important legal concepts you need to understand before selling a probate property. This is the difference between full authority and limited authority in California probate. Full authority is officially called Independent Administration of Estates Act authority. Think of this way. Full authority is like being an adult. You don't need a judge to approve every decision. You can list the house, accept an offer, and open escrow. You still must send a 15-day NOPA, Notice of Proposed Action, to the beneficiaries, giving them the chance to object. But you do not need court confirmation to complete that sale. Now, limited authority is like being a toddler. You cannot move forward without judicial permission. If you want to sell the house, you must list it, get an offer, publish legal notice of the sale as required by law, and then take that offer to court for confirmation. Here's why limited authority is a nightmare for real estate. It's the court overbid process. Let's say we get a buyer, Mr. Smith, who offers $1 million for a property that we listed at $980. We accept the offer. It's a great offer over asking price. But because you have limited authority, you don't go straight to closing. Instead, we start the clock all over again. Prepare paperwork, wait for a hearing date, and return to court, often months later, just to be able to confirm that sale. And at that hearing, the judge asks the room, does anyone want to pay more? If an investor stands up and offers, let's say, $1,050,000, Mr. Smith loses the house instantly. This is the court overbid process, and it's one of the main reasons limited authority falls apart, the sales. Because of this risk, most traditional buyers, families who want to actually live in the house, won't even consider limited authority listings. Less competition usually means a lower final price for the estate. That's why my goal and the goal of the specialized attorneys that we work with is to fight for full authority from day one. It saves you time, stress, and often money. I hear this all the time. Paula, I don't want to hire a specialized probate attorney or agent. I'll just do it myself or hire my cousin to save money. Here's the secret most people don't know. In California probate, you cannot negotiate attorney's fees or executor fees. They are set by statute, not by you. As one attorney jokes, don't forget who wrote the law. It was the lawyers. And here's the kicker. The fee is based on the gross value of the estate, not the equity. So if you have a $2 million house with a $1.9 million mortgage, the attorney will be paid on the $2 million. The debt doesn't matter. If the law requires you to pay these fees anyway, why would you hire a generalist or try to do it yourself? If you're paying for a Ferrari, don't drive a bicycle. So here's the specialist who knows how to keep out of lawsuits. Hire somebody that will keep you out of lawsuits. And if you do end up in one, someone who can defend you. Because in probate, beneficiaries often do litigate. Let me tell you a quick story that shows why cheap advice can change someone's life for the worse. This is a real case from one of the specialized probate attorneys we work with. A Hispanic stepmother had just lost her husband, the person she built her entire life with. She was grieving, she was vulnerable, and trying to survive the shock of his passing. Within months, her stepson from a prior marriage claimed he was entitled to 50% of the estate. Still in shock, she turned to an attorney friend, someone she trusted, but he was not a probate specialist. He casually told her, yeah, sounds like he has the right. Just go ahead and settle for the 50-50. Imagine that. After losing her husband, she was about to lose half of everything they built together. That advice would have cost her hundreds of thousands of dollars. But thankfully, she didn't stop there. She connected with one of the expert probate attorneys we work with. He immediately saw what the first attorney missed: California community property presumption. He fought for her, proved the asset was community property, and because of that, she didn't get to give him the 50%. She received 85% of the estate. Yes, the house still had to be sold, but instead of being short-handed or shortchanged, she walked away with the lion's share of what was truly hers. We're talking about a difference of hundreds of thousands of dollars in this property. That's why you do not DIY probate. That's why you don't rely on a generalist. When everything you've built is on the line, you need a team that truly understands this law. And that's exactly who we work with. Attorneys who don't guess, don't cut corners, and actually fight for the families when it matters most. Let me tell you another story. This one's about what happens when you hire the wrong real estate agent in probate. This was an executor who meant well. He wasn't greedy or dishonest. He was just overwhelmed and trusting. Family friend recommended, of course, a neighborhood agent who sold a lot of regular homes. Don't worry, the agent said. A sale is a sale. I've got this. But that agent had never handled a probate. The first red flag, he listed the property without letter testamentary in place. That means legally, the executor did not yet have authority to sell the house. That listing was null and void. The agent didn't care. He just wanted the listing live. They held open houses, even got an offer. The family thought, great, this is moving good, this is moving fast. But it wasn't fast. It was premature. Once the attorney and court caught up, everything had to be paused while the executor formally obtained letters testamentary. The buyer got nervous. The listing had to be corrected, and the family lost credibility in the market. Then came the bigger mistake. The executor actually had limited authority, meaning any accepted offer required court confirmation. Instead of explaining that up front, the agent said, "Don't worry, we're basically done." They were not. The agent didn't understand court confirmation. He didn't understand the process. He didn't prepare the family for the overbid process. He didn't explain that the buyer could lose the house in open court. When the court date finally arrived, months later, an investor overbid. The original buyer walked away furious. The family was blindsided, and the executor looked like he had misled everyone, even though he followed bad advice. What should have been a controlled probate sale turned into months of stress, legal fees, and family conflict, all because the agent didn't understand probate. That is why I say this strongly. If your agent doesn't understand court confirmation in a limited authority sale, fire them. And if they're willing to list a probate property without letters testamentary, that is a major warning sign. And if they're willing to list a probate property without letters testamentary, that is a major warning sign. In probate, an inexperienced agent doesn't just slow things down. They can expose the executor to lawsuits and cost the state real money. To wrap up, here's your probate don't do list. Number 1, don't hide information from beneficiaries. Transparency is your legal shield. As attorney Cheryl Barrett says, beneficiaries smell money. They cooperate when you communicate. Number 2, don't commingle funds. Never mix estate money with your personal account. That's immediate grounds for removal. Number 3, don't hire a generalist, or worse, a friend or agent friend. If your agent doesn't understand the difference between a 15-day NOPA or court confirmation hearing, fire them. They will put you at risk of breaching your fiduciary duty. Being an executor is a thankless job, but you don't have to do it all alone. As always, teamwork is the best work. Next week, we're going into the real estate trenches of probate, securing the asset. What do you do when you walk into the house and discover mom was a hoarder, or that valuables are buried in piles of trash? If you want to know exactly what you're legally responsible for as an executor, download my Executor Liability checklist below. It's a clear step-by-step guide to keep you protected. I'm Paula Ragone. See you next week.